Hey Cougar fans, Dan Genzer, Sports Information Director, here with USF head women's basketball coach Travis Traphagen. Last weekend the Cougars went 1-1 at home, now hit the road for the final two regular season games of the season before they come back and host a first round game next Wednesday here at the Stewart Center. Trap, real quickly, what's your assessment last weekend?
Friday night, played a great basketball game against Wayne State. At one point, I believe we got up over 44 points against a team that had beaten us previously in the year. So really happy with the way we played. Defensively, rebounding. And of course, when you score close to 90, you're going to be pretty happy with the way you scored the basketball as well. Turned around and played Augustana on Saturday. And, you know, quite honestly, after watching the film, we weren't as bad as maybe I thought. We defended fairly well, but I really thought kind of that third and fourth quarter, Augie's maybe a little bit more hungry than what we were. That, you know, take nothing away from them. And I thought they played a really good basketball game and got us down the stretch where I think it was a 4-point game with a couple minutes to play and had the basketball, made a big turnover, and they just capitalized on what they needed to do. So, you know, a tough one anytime it's a rival game, but take nothing away from them because I really thought maybe they were a little bit of the hungrier team in that second half.
Now, nationally, you made the rankings for the first time last week, which was a good thing, especially from recruiting and just from an image standpoint. And this week, you dropped a couple of points, but not that much. I mean, you probably 26th or 27th
yeah,
coming in.
We were the first one out, so we were 26th.
Yeah, so that's not a bad thing, given you had a loss. Now you go into this weekend and you have a real opportunity to finish out the season in what's been a historical year for the Cougars, right?
Yeah, I think this weekend is big in a couple different senses. One, we are having a great year, but we're trying to hold on to that number 2 seed in the South for the conference tournament. If we win 2, you know, we're pretty secured. We are secured as that 2 spot going into the tournament. But also, what's important is, you know, as we do this interview at 2 o'clock here on Wednesday, probably by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock today, the regional rankings come out, which I have no idea where we'll be, but I'm probably going to project us being around 6, 7, 8. You know, so each and every game from this point on is very, very important because there'll be a couple, and maybe they'll be in front of us too, but a couple of those North teams could be right on our heels with Northern States and Minnesota State Moorhead, who have home games this weekend. So, you know, each and every game is important. In coming off a loss, the last time that we did lose, we won 8 straight, and we chose to get better from that loss. So we're going to need to. We've talked to our kids a little bit about the last time we played Mankato. We beat them fairly decent, but they're a much better basketball team than that. You know, we actually were almost tied after the first quarter, and then the second and third quarters we kind of broke it open, and then the fourth quarter they beat us as well. So they're a dangerous team that can really shoot the basketball and have some good post presence as well. And then we turn around on Saturday and play a Concordia St. Paul team that I believe we won by 5. One of those nights we struggled a little bit offensively, and we're probably pretty fortunate to be able to hold on to that win. And just knowing we're going on the road, you know, it's not going to be easy to go into those places. That's probably been one trip in our 4 years. I know we have never swept by any means, but I mean, I don't want to call it pressure by any means, but we got some big goals that hopefully we can take one game at a time and see how those go.
Yeah, big games coming this weekend, but last weekend on Saturday afternoon, you had the opportunity to, for the regular season, say, home fans had an opportunity to talk or see the seniors and their parents, and you gave them a framed uniform. Talk a little bit about each of those seniors who have meant so much to your program.
This senior class is big. You know, sometimes you always hope you have 1 senior or 2, but, you know, we have 5. And just going through them real quickly, some local products. One, Marie Malloy, who had been a 2-year starter for us, is coming off the bench for us this year. Just accepts her role, whatever needs to get done. But I mean, she's the fast kid on the floor that just makes a lot of things happen. And quite honestly, probably should have got her some more minutes on Saturday, where she had a couple big steals, did some really good things. But we'll definitely miss her. Just her leadership, her speed. You know, she's battled a bit of injury this year, having her knee scoped, but couldn't be more proud of her. The 2 guard that we're losing, Taylor Varsho, Of course, young lady that's averaging about 19 points a game, I think will be in the vote for the Conference Player of the Year. It'd be a real tough one to be able to replace, but I mean, when she's done playing, I think people will just remember her as a kid who hits big shots, just a bulldog. Nobody's tougher than her, just mentality-wise. So again, just a special kid that was a transfer from Colorado State, and we just developed that great relationship. And she's going to be a tough one to replace. Is great a player, but great leader, and great when you get her off the floor as well. One of our 3-guard, Tegan Molden, 6'1", athletes that jumps out of the gym, can shoot it. And has really started, ever since we put her into the starting lineup against Northern State, has really started playing better basketball. Again, it's going to be hard to replace because of the length that she provides, can post up at times, can get on the perimeter. So, again, very proud of her. Probably one of the biggest, the next kid, Allison Klostagard, probably the most improved kid that I've ever coached. Came from Northeast Community College, high school at Beersford, South Dakota. But was a kid who never really looked to score at all last year. Was always never had to question effort, would rebound the basketball and defend. Well, this year has kind of made herself into one of those kids that can attack the rim, can shoot the 3 fairly well, shooting very, very good from the foul line this year. Averaging right around almost 11 points and 8 rebounds a game. I mean, when you think about that, close to a double-double. She brings a lot of intangible things that your average fan doesn't look for. Most people that come to the game wants to see who scores. But Al, every time when you look at it, the number of steals she gets, rebounds, she always has to play. She's a little undersized at the 4, but she just makes up so much in toughness. And, she provides so many second chance points for us with her rebounding ability, so she'll greatly be missed. And then Amber Payton, big 6'2" post, could start for a lot of teams, and accepts her role again on our team, comes off the bench, and has really this last, I'd say 3-4 weeks have been playing very, very well, not just scoring the basketball, but defensively, rebounding the basketball. And Amber knows what we expect of her when she comes in, and has just been doing a great job. So, like I said to begin with, sometimes you don't want to have 5 seniors, No. But again, those seniors are kind of responsible for us taking that step. These kids were kind of coming in right when the transition was ending, in terms of from NAI to Division II. So they trusted us in terms of what we needed to do moving forward, going into a new league, trying to build a program, and all 5 of those seniors have a big reason to do with some of the success that we're having this year. So I thank them. It was emotional, being a senior day, but we also say we're going to have another home game, which we'll play next Wednesday for the conference tournament one. We got to win that one. Losing against Augie, you don't ever want to lose your last game at home. But again, hopefully we have a lot to play for in the conference tournament. And if fortunes prevail and we're able to continue to win a little bit, they might be able to play a little bit more as well in the region. But we're going to take it one at a time, and the main Cato game is one we're really focused on.
Now, they have been part of a 2-year run here, really, and it really actually started 3 years ago, I think, when Taylor made a shot in a tournament. And from that point on, you had 17 wins a year ago. Now you're at 21, and you really have the opportunity to shoot past 40 wins over a 2-year period, which would be an incredible performance, right?
Yeah, and I think at this point, if we can win 2 games, being second in our league out of 16 teams is kind of a testament. I mean, I think this league is very, very good, and quite honestly, if we would have had maybe a little bit luck go on our side, we lost a couple close ones here this year that one we couldn't control, the other one we definitely could have, but great teams that who knows if we would have been up, for the number 1 spot. But I mean, that's where Winona's been very, very good.
Right. And
right now we got right on our back Moorhead and Northern, and Augie's a couple games back, or one game back now. But again, there's just a lot of great teams, and for us to be in that same category as a lot of those teams really kind of gives a big testament to a lot of our seniors, and even when I say our juniors and sophomores, a lot of those kids that have been around a little bit.
Yeah, you've gotten a lot of production. At the end of the year now, I think it's time to at least mention the job that your assistant coach has done. Talk about what what Kayla has meant to the program so far in her first year.
I think mentioning Kayla and Coach Bergen, just
Coach
two people
Bergen.
that quite honestly going through a transition. With Coach DeVille being with me for 6 years, and we just knew each other so well. Granted, she was with me for 6 years, but I mean, I was with her before that when she was at Augie. So they were going to be big shoes to fill. And Kayla, not having tons of experience, but just knew when I interviewed her, was somebody that I really wanted on my staff, and has picked up and has done very, very well. I mean, she's one of those young ladies I hope I can keep around, longer than the shorter, just because, I mean, she's got a big-time name in college basketball, and she's very, very good with recruiting, game prep, scouting, all those types of things. And, and Sean,
Right.
Coach Bergen, here's a guy that teaches all day and is just so selfless, coming in every time he can. It's just, he almost acts like he's, at times, could be the top assistant of all the time that he puts in, and kind of to be on that volunteer basis. So, I don't look at one of them being my top assistant or second assistant. We're all a staff, and they've done a great job with Coach DeVille leaving, and one of my former GAs that started the year with us. I got a great opportunity, Trevor McCowan. I'd be remiss not to mention him, because he's put a lot of time and effort into this program. Got a job offer that he couldn't turn down just after the Christmas break. Really proud of what he did, but right now, I mean, our big job is continuing to try to recruit great young ladies, just like what this senior class was, because it's not sometimes coaches that wins basketball games. It's players that win basketball games, and right now, I love the class that we have coming in. We're still actively recruiting 2 or 3 more, and we'll see if we can keep this ship rolling a little bit with those continued efforts.
Yeah, I remember reading a quote that it's not coach wins practice, players win games, and it's an interesting comment. Finally, this week, you feel like your team finally, final question, do you feel your team is ready to go on the road and get back on track?
Yeah, granted, we've only lost the 5 games this year. And you take away the Winona game that they got us pretty good at their place. All 4 other losses, we've been right there where, those games all could have been winnable. But when you go on the road, you just got to have a little bit extra focus. We play like we're down 10-0 to start all the games. And I think just knowing what we have to play for. 1, seeding, number 1, 2, potential regional berth, 3, playing your best basketball going into the Northern Sun Tournament, 4, playing for your seniors, that each and every game could be your last game. There's just so much that I hope each and every team out there is playing for. But I mean, this is just a special group. Our kids understand that this has been a special year, and I just hope that that doesn't have to end, sooner than what we would like. So again, we're going to focus. The awesome thing about our kids is we've understood now is the Augie game is over. It was quite a while before we lost the game before that. I believe we won 8 in a row to that point. So it's been a while, but the taste of losing isn't good in anybody's mouth. But at some point, there's always a winner and there's always a loser. And when you lose, it's how you get back up and how you respond. And our kids have had a good couple days of practice, and as tough it is, to lose against a rival. They're a great basketball team. Hats off to them. But now we're a great basketball team, and we got to be able to go on the road to be able to show that type of team that we are a great team, and that we're going to be very resilient. Coming off a tough loss.
Good luck this weekend, Trap.
Thanks, Dan.